does say.
It's us, man.
Failures to deliver, or FTDs, occur when a seller fails to deliver the sold securities to the buyer within the standard settlement period, typically 2 days after the trade date. While this might sound like an administrative hiccup, the implications are far more serious. FTDs can distort the true supply and demand dynamics in the market, leading to price manipulations and the creation of what are essentially phantom shares. Dr. Suzanne Trimbath, a leading expert on settlement failures, has extensively researched how FTDs can undermine market integrity.
To imagine that you would allow more paper, more shares to be issued than there were actually assets underlying them, that somehow contributes to financial stability, to me is absurd. They're polar opposites. Either the assets are tied to the issuance and the trading and the number of shares in circulation, that's tied to the asset. As soon as you separate supply from price, it can't possibly be stable. It can't stay that way. It can't maintain itself.
Her work reveals that persistent FTDs can lead to significant price distortions and even impact the broader economy. Market makers, like Citadel Securities, plays a crucial role in the settlement process. But with great power comes great responsibility and potentially great opportunity for exploitation. Let's look at a concrete example: GameStop. In 2021, GameStop saw a surge in FTDs, forming consistent cycles, particularly around the T+35 clearing period. These weren't random occurrences. They indicated a pattern where FTDs were potentially being used strategically to manipulate the stock's price. The numbers are staggering. On January 14, 2021, GameStop had 1,084,158 shares that failed to deliver. Just 2 weeks later, on January 28th, at the height of the trading frenzy, this number skyrocketed to 3,210,148 shares. These massive FTD volumes were part of a recurring cycle where FTDs would peak around key dates, correlating with significant price movements in GameStop's stock. Market participants could delay the delivery of shares for 35 days, creating artificial supply pressures that influence the stock price. This manipulation was particularly evident during the jumps in price, where repeating patterns of price suppression followed by significant price increases were observed around these FTD clearing periods. The strategic use of FTDs in the GameStop case underscores the urgent need for enhanced regulatory measures and stricter enforcement to prevent such manipulative practices and maintain market integrity. Recent data from May 2024 shows substantial FTD volumes for GameStop. On May 13, 2024, there were 571,602 shares that failed to deliver. 3 days earlier, on May 10th, there were 344,591 FTDs. These failures create an artificial supply in the market, potentially driving prices down and distorting GameStop's true market value. But the story doesn't end with individual stocks like GameStop. To fully understand the complexity of this issue, we need to examine another player in this financial ecosystem: exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. These investment vehicles can inadvertently amplify the effects of FTDs and create new opportunities for market manipulation. Let's look at a specific example that's closely tied to GameStop's story. Now, consider the SPDR S&P Retail ETF, known as XRT. Think of XRT as a basket of retail stocks, including GameStop and Chewy. As of July 11, 2024, XRT holds about 315,000 shares of GameStop and 285,297 shares of Chewy. Here's where it gets interesting. XRT uses an equal weight strategy, meaning it tries to maintain the same percentage allocation for each stock in its portfolio. Imagine a seesaw that needs to be perfectly balanced. If one side, a stock's price, goes up, the ETF needs to sell some shares to maintain balance. If it goes down, the ETF buys more. This rebalancing can create temporary supply-demand imbalances, potentially affecting stock prices. For instance, if GameStop's stock price rises significantly, XRT might sell some shares to maintain equal weight, potentially exerting downward pressure on the stock price. Chewy recently announced a $500 million repurchase of its shares. This is like removing chairs from a game of musical chairs. Fewer shares available means increased competition for the remaining ones. This could make it more expensive to borrow Chewy's shares, potentially impacting XRT's ability to maintain its balance and further complicating the FTD landscape. The interaction between these stocks and XRT can affect FTDs and potentially provide another avenue for price manipulation. High FTD volumes can impact the ETF's ability to maintain its equal weight strategy, leading to further price distortions and market volatility. How does Citadel stand to benefit from this complex web of FTDs, ETFs, and stock price movements? As a major market maker, Citadel has unprecedented visibility into order flows and market dynamics. Imagine a massive poker tournament where Citadel is not just a player, but also the dealer who can see everyone's cards. They know who's betting, who's folding, and can even peek at the upcoming cards in the deck. This is akin to Citadel's ability to see pending buy and sell orders, the player's hands, and upcoming market trends, the deck. In this poker analogy, FTDs are like IOUs that players can use instead of real chips, promising to pay later. ETFs are like side bets that affect the main game. Citadel, with its bird's-eye view of the entire tournament, could potentially use this information to influence the game. They could strategically delay paying their IOUs, failing to deliver shares, affecting the perceived value of the chips, stock prices. Could this information be used to strategically fail to deliver shares, creating artificial selling pressure on stocks like GameStop? For instance, could they flood the table with IOUs when they see a player about to make a big bet, temporarily devaluing the chips? The question isn't just academic, it strikes at the heart of market fairness and efficiency. This level of insight into the game, combined with the ability to influence the value of the chips, raises serious questions about the potential for market manipulation and the need for a more vigilant tournament referee, regulatory oversight. As we've seen with GameStop, FTDs can significantly impact stock prices and market behavior. But how have regulators responded to these challenges, and why haven't their efforts been more effective? To address these issues, regulators have implemented measures like Regulation SHO, which mandates close-out requirements for FTDs. However, enforcement has been inconsistent, and many market participants have found ingenious ways to bypass the regulations. Market participants employ various tactics to circumvent Regulation SHO. One common method is looping FTDs, where a series of sham transactions reset the settlement period. Another tactic involves exploiting complex option strategies, creating the appearance of legitimate transactions while perpetuating underlying short positions. Market makers, in particular, can exploit exemptions that allow them to sell short without first locating shares, under the guise of providing liquidity. This practice can create an artificial supply of shares, potentially suppressing stock prices until it's opportune to cover positions. Furthermore, off-exchange trading platforms, or dark pools, have been used to hide the true extent of FTDs and avoid regulatory scrutiny. These platforms can obscure real supply-demand dynamics and delay FTD settlements. These sophisticated evasion tactics underscore the challenges regulators face in enforcing Regulation SHO and highlight the urgent need for more robust oversight to maintain market integrity and fairness. In light of these regulatory shortcomings, one might wonder, how do entities like Citadel Securities navigate this complex landscape? As a major market maker with unprecedented visibility into order flows and market dynamics, could Citadel potentially exploit these regulatory gaps? One potential solution is the Consolidated Audit Trail, or CAT, designed to enhance market transparency by tracking all orders throughout their life cycle. However, the CAT has faced numerous delays and challenges. Interestingly, Citadel Securities sued the SEC over changes to CAT's funding model. One has to wonder, is Citadel genuinely concerned about transparency and data privacy, or is there a fear of increased scrutiny into their trading practices? It's clear that FTDs represent a significant threat to market integrity. They can be used as a tool for price manipulation, potentially benefiting large market makers at the expense of retail investors and overall market efficiency. The GameStop case study reveals how these mechanisms can play out in real time, with significant consequences for investors and the broader market.